Hello, you guys. Welcome back to another video slash episode on this podcast slash YouTube channel. Whether you are returning or new here, welcome or a welcome back. And today, guys, I feel like this is the perfect time for me to record this topic. This is gonna be another one kind of off the dome, just flowing thoughts. Shout out to the person who recommended this. I put on my Instagram the other day to toss me some podcast episodes, and this one stuck out to me, but I think it's important to talk about right now. So I think a lot of topics on my YouTube channel kind of overcross because like self-love, confidence, breakup, heartbreak, healing from trauma, like a lot of stuff is like interconnected with the topics I make. But I remember someone on my Instagram said I should make a podcast episode about confidence because I seem so confident. And thank you. I love exuding that energy. But I think this is a good topic because I think this peaks out in a lot of podcast episodes, but to really break it down in this crazy world right now, and also to give some insight from a person with intersectionality, hello, Black and a woman, in a country and societies and systems who try to teach people like me not to be confident and not to be outspoken like I am. This is very important for anyone who wants to listen. So I feel like for people, this can start out in two different ways, right? Some people is like, I was literally not confident because of the home I grew up in, because of the parents I had, because of the people around me. There's people where the first step, like the home doesn't feel safe. You're not being treated right. You're not being treated like you deserve anything. People internalize that, bring it into adult relationships, yada, yada, yada. That unfortunately is a reality for a lot of other people. Or there's the other route where, again, for someone like me, I actually grew up in a house that was positive, that always taught me I'm beautiful and I'm smart and I can do anything and never really criticized. I mean, all parents have something to say about your character sometimes. But for the most part, I was, I was very praised. I didn't feel any type of way. Like how I started feeling about myself came from outside the home. So, there's two things. People start confident inside the home or not confident because of being inside the home. So that's honestly how I started. I mean, when I was younger, y'all, I was that kid where like I truly did not care, like basketball shorts and a t-shirt, yeah. Or a pinky girly dress. Like I also grew up with a mom. Sometimes it's about like what you see. I grew up seeing a healthy marriage, healthy Black love, Black women being supported and loved. And my mom wasn't really like a girly girl. My mom is a nurse. She didn't really do makeup. She dressed really leisurely a lot. And so, yeah, it was never like a thing like, oh, you need to do that or you need to fix that or you need to, it was just like my house was just like whatever. They accepted me in any form. So to start off, like, no matter who wants to speak on it or not, everybody has insecurities. Everybody has insecurities, has insecure moments. And one thing I want to touch on this episode too is I feel like a lot of times when we talk about insecurities, we talk a lot about our physical appearance. I don't like this about myself. I don't like this feature. I don't like how this looks, But a lot of people I feel like are insecure about, like, not about themselves, because I wanted to say about themselves, but how they look is about themselves. But I don't know, they're insecure about if they're good enough to do a job, if they're a good enough in whatever they're in, if they're a good enough daughter, if they're a good enough student, if they're a good enough teacher, if they're a good enough partner, stuff like that. So everyone has insecurities, whether it's physical or internal. That's the word I was looking for. That when I became an adult and I exited the home and I had close relationships with people outside of my family is when I started to feel insecure. I remember pretty much I started feeling insecure like when I was in college. Like, of course, growing up, teenagers have a little here and there. Okay, I'm a tall queen. I don't know if you guys could tell. In high school, I didn't really like being tall because I thought all the boys were short. I'm like, wait, Why are we the same height or nobody's as tall as me? I kind of used to be like, oh, like, I wish I was a cute little, like, 5'2", 5'3". Sometimes that's something that just, like, moves through. Because now I love being tall. And, like, every man I've dated out of high school was at least 6 feet. So it's like, that ain't no problem, you know? But, like, seriously, deep-rooted stuff that I think was constantly on my mind and, like, affected how I interacted with people and affected my choices was, I remember in college, I started to have acne after having really clear skin for whatever reason, and I figured out it was because of hair products. Yes, I did the Black Girl Big Chop, and then I used all these different oils, and it was dripping through my pillowcase and getting on my face and stuff for like 2 years or more. I had bad acne, and I was also in my like first relationship, and I know this is something I feel like we don't clock a lot when it comes to, I want to say young girls, but I feel like boys could feel like this even too. Sometimes in relationship dynamics, it can be very easy to feel insecure when you are the less experienced person in relationships in general. Because I'm in college, I'm kind of fighting through like this physical insecurity I never really had to think about before, but now I'm having it. I'm actively trying to combat it. And then I'm with my first boyfriend who has done the things before, right? Who is not a virgin, who's dated girls for real before. I had like a 3-month relationship in high school that was not that serious, like, you know. And I remember I started to feel really insecure in that relationship with him, you know? I think sometimes it has parts to do with, yeah, if you're already looking at yourself and stuff, but then also sometimes how your partner acts. I also think my partner was very immature in the way he talked about his past and the experience he had over me. But again, a lot of times, especially as women, we try to mask like, oh, well, we're not supposed to feel this and this and that. So, you know, you kind of just mask it. But man, it really comes from other people, because I seen myself like feeling insecure about having acne and comparing myself to other people and stuff like that. But then it came down to like the first time I ever felt like I was like depressed, which is when I got my heart broken by that guy. And that also dealt with a really bad relationship with my mom. And I came to the conclusion at the same time of having family issues, like trying to like run to a guy who didn't want me because I felt like my family didn't want me. And I came to the conclusion when I was depressed with all those, when I tried therapy for the first time, where I was like, so basically, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. I was like, I'm not good enough for this man to want to love me and still want to be with me. And I'm not good enough for my mom to be nice to me or have a regular relationship with me or treat me like my other siblings. Basically, they're both teaching me I'm not good enough, and I believe it. I feel like that was the first time I felt like that feeling, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like no one would have insecurities if we had nice people who didn't have insecurities. This world is a breeding ground for insecurities. Like I said, especially for someone like me, a marginalized person with intersectionality. Bars, Dr. Seuss. Hold up, Dr. Seuss is You know what I'm saying? It's like a lot of people have insecurities because people point them out, or that's how they make them feel, or someone else's opinion you internalize as the truth. That is how I've felt because of men that I've dealt with, because of abuse, assault that I've been through. That's honestly the conclusions that it came to me. It's like, oh, so these people do stuff like that to me that gives like, oh, you don't mean like, you don't mean like, look how easy that was to do that or treat you like that. Or again, being in an abusive relationship at one point in my life too, having the confusion of, and also like kind of like the situation with my mom too, of being like, no, I do love you and all that, but definitely not gonna show it. But I do love you. But I'm gonna treat you like you're the scum of the earth, and I hope you get the message. And so those people's actions made me feel like, oh, I've been built up like my whole life to feel like, yeah, I can do anything and stuff. But these people's actions and how they treats me shows, oh, I'm not. Like, I'm literally not. Because if I wasn't, especially coming from my mom, which I've thought about doing an episode on family relationships and the mother wound. let me know if you want it in the comments, was especially hard for me because that was someone who built me up so much as a child. But as soon as we started not seeing eye to eye, it's like, oh, I don't, like, I'm like compared to the other children. That's how I felt. So it's like, how do you come back from that? You know, as people who watch me and know how much I'm an advocate for myself, but also for anyone listening, but especially for women and young girls, you know, in this, again, this breeding ground for insecurities, but also filled with misogyny, is to like, no, like you are worth everything and you can pick and choose every single little thing that you want. And you can raise it all the way up here. Like, how did I go from feeling like that to being here and preaching this to the choir and actually meaning it? Which again, I'm not perfect. As a person who said I exude confidence, thank you. But I always try to mention in my videos too, like I've been telling you guys some stories where, yeah, I always say like self-love is the decisions you make and like you choose what you want to put up with and da. And all that is true, but don't nobody always take their own advice. You know, I definitely take it like it's shown. I've been single for a whole year because I'm not settling and not dealing with what I just dealt with last year. You know what I'm saying? But when you get in relationships and you have soft spots for people, and also you realize there's a lot of gray areas in the things you were taught, which is also something else I learned through my relationships. You know, I low-key grew up in a very matriarchal household, which I think is the reason, you know, I'm like this, right? Because I'm like, y'all know how people be like, oh, I gotta ask my dad. My dad said no, I gotta stand my dad. In my house, it was like, ask your mom. If your mom says no, my dad's rolling with it. Like, that's how it was. So I grew up very like, don't take this, Alicia. Don't take that. You can do anything. Don't. And I seen an example of like my mom, such like an outspoken woman who does her thing, who has a man who supports her and doesn't dim her light too. But like, there's also balance. I feel like I've been on extremes, like a lot of other people have, probably in the same way, where it's like, yes, that's true. Don't let nobody play with you. Don't let nobody cheat, abuse, be dishonest to you, disrespect you. But there's also the other side where it's also like, but you're not perfect and you're not always nice and you don't always say the right things either. And also, not everything is about you. Don't take everything personal. Like, there's sides. Like, y'all have seen in my story times. I've been on the extremes of like, don't deal with nothing. But also, I'm not perfect and other people have their stuff too, you know? So I feel like, especially in the dating world, it's like all about finding that balance, that in between. Like, don't let nobody play with you. But also don't be too unrealistic, like, and expect perfection. I feel like expect as much perfection as you have. And that's the problem with my last relationships. That's a problem, is I'm not perfect, but in the ways my flaws were versus these other men, it wasn't matching up. But I honestly think that balance of demanding respect and what you deserve, but also not demanding or expecting perfection that no one has, is honestly what made me more confident. Like, that first time when I was going through it, like, oh, mom treats me like, so I guess, you know, boyfriend or ex doesn't love me and doesn't care what I'm going through to be there with me and just toss me to the side. So I guess I'm not, like, I read the 4 Agreements, guys. Clap it up if you've ever read that. Now I don't have that book because I gave it to my abusive ex trying to make him a better person. Oh, no, guys, it's not funny. Like, that's my favorite book ever. I remember when I got with an abuser next. I literally gave him that because I was like, he was super insecure. And I was like, this changed my life when I was really insecure and cared about everyone's opinion. So you should read it. You probably never read it, but it's not mine anymore. Anyways, the 4 agreements. One of the agreements is to not take things personal. That changed my life because I thought how other people treated me, like that's the thing, is like separating yourself. I was so convinced that how people treat you, after I had been treated so poorly by the 2 closest people and people whose love and affection I valued so much, I thought that meant, oh, like, especially with those people, because y'all know I be on the net too, like, what's up? Like I said, I'm literally a black woman on the internet. Okay, people say stuff to me all the time, and I'm like, those are two people that I really value their opinion, and they treat me like I'm nothing. So I'm like, I must be. Like, that's how I felt. But that book talking about, again, it's not that simple. People grew up one way, and people's self-confidence, again, is this way because of where I started, or the other route. You know, people go through things and they push people away when they really want to be with them, or people can love people and not show it because this world is just, and a lot of people don't know how to. Like, I learned so much, and I was like, oh, this is why it's so important for me to have my own opinion of myself, my own, and don't let it slip or whatever based on what other people say. Like, that changed me. And you would think that that would be so simple. And I like remember like my friends and my family would really try to tell me that, like, just because he doesn't want to be with you anymore, like, just because she treats you like this, like, you shouldn't feel like this. And I was just so convinced that, like, yes, I should. Yes, I should. Like, yes, I should. Like, that's literally how I felt. And it was so liberating me to reflect, because that not taking things personal even made me reflect on myself. How, like I said, I'm not perfect. Like, especially when I look back at my first heartbreak for my first love. Y'all know we all went insane over that girl or boy. Okay, we all felt insane, y'all. I was wailing in my room in the dark, triggering on end, like reading a love poem or something like that, start wailing again, like, you know? It takes like a lot out of you because it's your first. Like, you realize when you step back, like how I feel now, that there's nothing special about that person. Like, they were just special because they were your first, right? And so, like I said, I even reflected back on myself to how I said, I'm not perfect. I wasn't always nice to him. I wasn't always the best girlfriend. Again, also, I realized because of stuff I was going through, how I was like, I really appreciate and see a mostly positive about my upbringing. But also, I'm like, I seen some of the ways I act in that relationship where I'm like, I'm acting like like I said, this strange relationship with my mom. I'm like, I'm acting like the qualities I don't like about her towards this man. Like, I realized, like, again, you're really a product of, and I'm like, oh, like, sometimes I literally made him feel how my mom makes me feel. And like, that doesn't feel good. And like, I had like poor emotional regulation because I was already so stressed out from my family issues that I would take it out on this person. Like, that's not fun. Like, it also made me like internalize things too and be like, dang, like, you can still be her and like be quote unquote like the victim, because how the relationship went, yeah, I was. It was like a lot of people's first, right? Typical love bombing, showering, we're gonna be together with forever, and then a random pullback. And then that pullback made me feel even more insane when I'm already dealing with him. So I'm more irritable, I'm more mean, like, and then I was lied to, and then he finally revealed that he's been lying, he doesn't want to be with me. Boot dropped, right? So it's like, it made me realize like that I didn't deserve the treatment of him or my mother, and I deserve kindness and stuff. But also, like, too, like, girl, what was you giving? What were you giving back? Like I said, like, it makes me understand both forms of the extremes. Like I said, the don't take, but also, what are you doing? And are you perfect? And are you bringing everything too? Which I feel like is a hard pivot for a lot of people. But it's very, very needed. Yeah, hold up. I feel like I just went a lot of places, but I feel like the people who will get it, get it. If you've never read The Four Agreements, please go read it, y'all. It's such a good book. I should buy it again. I should buy it again. I really should buy it again. But honestly, yeah. Everyone still has insecurities, y'all. Today I had a job interview over the phone, and this bitch laughed in my face. And that that ruined my mood. I almost didn't want to record today because I felt like smacking her, but then I also felt like ego bruised, but then I also felt like a lot of emotions because I'm also bleeding out of my right now. Girlhood, yeah. But I'm like, I feel like these are good moments to make of it. Because I'm like, if I was in a more vulnerable state, even though I'm already kind of vulnerable, like that might have ruined my day. I might have been like, oh my God, because I'm trying so hard to break into a new field. That might have made me feel like I should just stay in this field because she got me up. Like, why is she insulting my intelligence like that? Da, 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 da. But, like, again, I could see both sides. I could understand why she thought I wasn't a good candidate, but also watch your mouth. Like, watch your mouth and be professional. She literally called me, and now we're late after when the interview was supposed to start. Ho. Y'all, this is why I got to get on my own. Send it to your friends, y'all. Yeah, because when that company comes back and wants to work with me when I'm up, I'm be like, oh, isn't that the girl who laughed in my face when I was trying to work for her? Oh, okay. Yeah. I have tons of insecure moments and insecure feelings sometimes, It's just like the art of carrying on, really. Like I said, it's okay to take other advice and perspectives because you're not always right, but also just to hold that own self-opinion no matter where you're at, Like I said, I'm here, natural skin, natural hair. What? Skin is clear as today. But yeah, sometimes I do struggle from like a person who used to have bad acne where I'm like, even looking in the camera, seeing that I still have dark marks from having it's like, or sometimes when I have like one little breakout, it's like, I'm afraid of going back. But like, I'm not, no matter if the acne's there or not. And so are you. Like what? Like why are we so scared of looking human? This is exactly how I'm supposed to look. And if you want to improve things about yourself, obviously, go do that and work on what you could do. But yeah, it's just like the older you get, the older you don't, and you give less, like I said, because I have my own opinion of myself, who gonna change it? Not you. Not you. But I also just wanted to end on the note of, if you guys know me, and also anybody else who has a heart and has a brain, and especially as a marginalized intersectionality person like me, should care. I'm feeling heavy today because what is going on? Yeah. Donald, I vote for this prezi. Because what? And didn't. And if you did, you should be ashamed. Some just did this 3 times. Social media is being very censored right now. I'm tired of the icicles. I'm tired of seeing Minnesota go through something they've been through. Like, I'm so tired of these systems in America dealing with people for not even doing anything or looking a different way, looking at them the wrong way, breathing the wrong way. Like, this is really scary, those systems. Like, because what? My heart goes out to anyone directly affected. At this point, you see the different people who are being dealt with. We're really all affected. I've seen some really interesting opinions too. As a Black person who has always cared about the oppressed systems, because hello, they always did it to Black people first. Some of you guys are weird, calling on us. Like I said, as a person who cared, like the Black people will know exactly what type of videos I'm seeing. But yeah, you guys know where I stand. And hold your confidence up high right now. Be outspoken. Don't let nobody silence you. Don't let nobody, like, you see how they are treating people. Don't go for that, no matter who it's from, as long as it's safe for you, because things are scary, like I said. But thank you guys so much for listening to another podcast episode. I hope I said something helpful. I hope that, you take something positive away. Thank you guys so much for listening all the way through to this episode. And as always, I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye.